Welcome, and thank you for joining. First, I want to introduce you, of course, both of you. Maybe I will start with Anne Claes. We have two Annes, which could make it a bit difficult, but Anne on my side is Anne Claes. You're the co-owner and chief buying officer of CRG. Can you explain for people who might not know CRG, what should we know about the company?
Yes, I think a lot of people don't know the name CRG, but it's like the mother company who is the owner of JBC, and I think that's a shop, a retailer that most people do know. We sell garments for the whole family, but especially known for the children's collection. Then in 2013, we took over Mayerline, which is also a retailer, but they also do wholesale, and they sell a collection for ladies, only ladies collection. And then in 2020, we took over CKS, which is also a retailer. We have our own shops, but also a wholesaler. And there we have like a younger, fashionable line for younger women.
Okay, thank you. It's indeed very, very well known. Anne Kluft, who is on the other side, can you also introduce us to PLUTO, please?
At PLUTO, we design the most beautiful nightwear, homeware, and holiday wear. So all designs that you are wearing when nobody is seeing you. We are a small company, but even being small, we do about 65% of our turnover is export, especially to France, Germany, North America, a bit in Japan and South Korea. And our designs are sold in beautiful lingerie stores, bed and bath linen stores. And I'm going to take the opportunity to make a bit of publicity on one of our customers in Antwerp, Shortway, and that's where you can find our designs.
Okay. I agree, it's beautiful, so it's fine for me. I want to talk, of course, about our trip to Ghana last year in October. Maybe Anne Claes, first, a question for you. In hindsight, I think it's very clear why we went. It was very impactful, at least to me. But why did you join in the first place?
Well, I think one of our values for the family and so also for our company is to be respectful to people and nature. So I think like you hear a lot about big piles of clothes in South America or in Ghana. And I think we have to take our responsibility and see what we can do ourselves to help solve the problem. We cannot solve everything by ourselves, but it needs to lead to see what we can do and which actions we can take. So I think it was a very good initiative first to see, because the confrontation was huge. It was very impactful, I think, for everybody. We were very quiet when we first saw even the people living there on this pile of clothes, on secondhand clothes. But then we took a few days to go away from the daily business, out of the operations, to discuss and to see what can we do, and we see what were the options upstream and downstream. So for me it was important that we did it together with other CEOs, because I think together you have more power, because we're a small country. So in fact we are a small company. Even if we have 200 stores in Belgium, in the world it's not that big. So I think if we work together, we can do more, because together you're stronger.
I love to hear that, of course. You mentioned that indeed everybody was very silent when we first saw it. That's a strong memory. Anne, do you also have other strong memories, or what's the thing now, almost 6 months later, what comes up first when you think about Ghana?
You showed it. And I think it was the first day in Accra, and we visited the Kantamanto market. And already seeing all those market stalls, stands, selling all those clothes, you were wondering, to whom are they selling all those clothes? But it was still colorful. Even if it was not safe, it's a lot of wood, it's dirty. Even if we saw a little baby sitting in the middle of a table where they were dyeing trousers. But still, people were very proud because it was their business. You had color, you had smiling people. But then we came out of that market, we turned around, and we saw that river. And all of a sudden, everything was gray. Everything was smelly, dirty, brown. And we saw that river, which was empty, full of waste. And for me personally, it was especially when we came closer to the riverbank, you see all those waste, but you don't really see what it is. And I was looking down, and all of a sudden, I still remember, I see this one sleeve in the middle, hanging out, and I was realizing that I was walking on 4 meters of layers of clothing with mud. Clothing with mud. We were walking on it. People were living on it. Children were playing on it. They built houses on it. And then, we walked and we saw those mountains full of smoke. So we were, of course, as you said, all very quiet. But it was shocking.
I fully agree. It was. We all thought we were walking on a dirt road, but apparently, so the images we saw don't even show it good enough because it's actually much bigger and deeper than you would think. Was there a moment when we were there that you sort of felt perhaps uncomfortable at being a representative of the Western society or even the Western fashion industry?
I think it's impossible to feel comfortable when you're there, because what we do every day, and we try to make a nice collection and we try to sell, but in fact we're also partner in this, not by choice, but in fact what we do has some consequences. And it forced me more to think about what can we do, and not only think about it, but also like a call to action, to not waste time, but to do things that we can realize together, step by step, and hoping to convince other companies also to join us and to help us to realize this, because this is not something that we can do in 6 months. We will have a comeback meeting in November. Not all the problems will be solved in November, because in fact this started for me 30 years ago, when people started producing in China. So China was like the biggest factory for Europe and for America. That's when the problem started, when people started buying with the same amount of money, started buying more clothes and changing them more quickly. That's when the problem started. So it will take time to solve, but if we don't start now, it will never get solved. So there's no reason to leave it as it is, and it would be unrespectful to leave it as it is at this moment.
So we're looking for solutions, which will take time and which is hard. Maybe for Anne, is it hard to combine as a business owner the fact that you have, of course, moral principles, which were very lively at those moments, but also you have a commercial and an economic business that you need to keep alive? Is this something that you need to weigh next to each other often, and is this hard?
Well, doing business is hard at this moment, and it is more difficult than a couple of years ago anyway, but not only because of this sustainability question, but I think personally, how can you work if you don't have moral standards? So anyway, but all of us, that's what we do. That's what we do. Is it hard? I think the hardest thing is when I saw this presentation of Ed. I personally prefer vintage cars. I think they are much more beautiful. But I think that our legislation could help us a lot if they would use a bit of Ferrari speed. Because we are not working on the same level. If we talk about legislations, we will have to pay with the UPV, I don't know how you say it in English.
The extended producers,
yeah.
EPR, extended producers
So
responsibility.
I think it's a good thing. We will have to pay an amount of money for all the clothes we will put on the market, and this money will be used to find solutions on the waste. But the biggest problem is all the clothes coming from Asia. They are not paying, and they do not have to pay in the future. So I think that's what I hope it will change, that they will have to pay in the future. But at this moment, how it is written, the money will be used to solve the problem for everything, but it's Europeans who are going to pay.
Mm-hmm.
So
Of course, the solutions will have to be complex because the problem is also very complex. And you also spoke about a call to action, that it felt as a call to action. What in your opinion, are things that really need to change in the fashion system?
Well, for sure, I think we really buy too many clothes. That's a reality we cannot deny. So I think it would be a good idea to be aware of what you buy, and do you really need it? Will it make you more happy? That's one part, and not like buy and throw it away next season because it's out of fashion. What we do and what we think is very, very valuable is that we have like a second-hand sale of all our children's clothing. So all people can bring back the garments they bought in JBC stores when they're second-hand, and they get like a value voucher. And then we also resell them. So this way we try to avoid that you throw it away in the containers like Wereldmissiehulp or something like that, because I think in the past a lot of people used to think when I throw away my clothes and I put it in this container, my problem is solved and I'm doing a good job. But in fact you're not doing a good job, because they go to a distribution center, a lot of them go to Ghana or somewhere else, but it's not a solution to the problem. That's something I think would be a call to action for all of us. And secondly, I think when we all go home, probably tomorrow, we can talk about it to our colleagues, maybe to the CEO you have in the company, maybe to your leader, but talk about it like, why can't we join? Why can't we sign the charter, and why can't we do all these things? And of course you cannot do them in a short time, but you have to start somewhere. We also started step by step, and this is a process that will still go on. It will never be finished, but just start tomorrow.
Yeah,
that's my
the whole
advice.
idea. Thank you. That's the whole idea of the charter, indeed, to go further step by step. In Ghana, we mostly saw the downstream consequences of what happens with clothing when they get thrown away, in some cases. But I think we also talked a lot about upstream, and this also impacted, upstream choices also impact the whole system. Anne, I know you have certain topics regarding quality that you find are very important. Can you explain that, please?
yeah, the DNA of our brand has been since the start that we try to design and make products that you feel so good in that you just want to keep them, that they feel like a blanket and you just want to wear them. You come home and you want to wear them. And the starting point of everything we do, we start with our raw materials. We start with our fabrics. We start with the suppliers of our fabrics. We are working for a very long time with the same European suppliers. And I believe if you design goods with a very high quality, in a timeless design that people or women, because it's for women we design, feel really good in, they will wear our clothes, and there is no second life for our clothes, because you wear them till the end. You wear them till there is almost nothing left. At least that's the aim we have.
So physical durability, but also emotional durability.
Yes,
you want to
absolutely.
keep it forever. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's very important too. In October, we went to Ghana, then we returned. Could you perhaps share how the people reacted when you returned to the office? I know you have a board of directors. How did they react?
Well, first of all, we told it to all the people in the office, because they already know that we want to be like in the best possible way, a sustainable company. We are already a member of Fairware. We signed the Bangladesh Accord, so they know we're working on this, and we tell them regularly what we are doing. So for them, they were really interested. They wanted to know what did we see and what was going to happen. So for them, it was like really a confirmation. Also for the board of directors, they know what are the values of the family and the company. So also they, I made the presentation to them and told them what would be the action plan for the next year, and they approve, because I think it convinces people nowadays the values we have to come and work for the company, but I think it's also important for the people in our board of directors that they need to trust the values and they need to agree on the values that you have as a company.
Thank you. We don't have much time left, but I have a final question. In November, the first year will be over since we signed the charter, and then we will ask you to report for the first time about your actions, about what you did. Is there already something that you can mention, or what have you been working on the past time? Very short, if it's possible.
Okay. If we need to present something, we started to analyze and to keep the data, because being a small company, we didn't have all the data. So we start working on that. But one other action point that we were not working on before is that I think we can help a lot focusing on single blend. Because we know that in the recycling process, it's much easier if there is a single blend.
So
Being in
monomaterials.
our
Monomaterials.
monomaterial,
yeah. No, it's all right.
And in our business, it's easy because we do work a lot with cotton. So, but that's one of the objectives that we have. It's to increase the usage of 100% cotton.
Okay, thank you. Anne?
We're working more on having the right stock inventory. Where do we need to have the stock in online or in the shops, and try to buy more on the short term so we don't have too many stocks, because that's the first thing to be aware of, that we cannot work on demand because we produce a lot in the Far East. So we try to make through AI the right projections to have a better stock balance.
Okay. Thank you. I look forward to hearing more in November. Thank you for sharing your experience, and also thank you all for listening.